as I cough. And the YouTube has picked it up almost, maybe. There we go. We are live. I'm just popping out the chat. So Hugo, you don't have to worry about the chat. We'll make sure you see questions and comments. We'd like to give a few minutes for people to come in.
It's probably going to get slower during the summer too, all this nice weather and states opening up and all that stuff.
Will, but that's why we've made it later too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's golden hour just finished here.
I got another like hour and a half before golden hour.
Yeah, I know. We might have to do the show later. But we can't because I don't want to interview with Chad Miller.
Truth. What's up, Travis? Corey, man. Dua. I want to say Dua, but it's Do4. Do4.
How's it going, Bruto? Yeah, see, it's 9 p.m. here too, which makes it easier. And for Hugo, it's 9 also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
How's it going, Capture? Travis says he's enjoying the lake. I don't know if he's flying at the lake or having a fire.
He lives on the lake. He lives on like Lake Michigan or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm jealous.
I'll highlight that one for you right away. Hey, how are you?
So Capture, love my drones. As you guys can already see, we have Hugo Chamberlain here with us tonight from TrueRC, or he is TrueRC basically, right?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's
I do. I get a lot of help from my wife, Valerie, to set up the business.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I make the content and she make the container. The website,
Yeah.
You know, pretty picture and things like that. That they are important.
That's fantastic, though. Corey Mano wants to know if you were at Planet FPV last year.
Yes, it was.
He might have met you then. I'm sure he'll reply. There is a delay between the chat and then what we are saying and doing. So, like, they do run behind us. Well, we are going to keep the show to an hour tonight, guys. Everyone's quite busy as the world starts to reopen. And we don't want to keep Hugo longer than needed. So if you like what you're seeing and you have more questions, we can always do a part 2 another day. As Jake said, we've got Hugo from TrueRC. And Jake, I think you were like super fired up with some questions. So I'm going to let you jump right in.
Now, first off, I'm going to get what I like to ask out of the way. Where did all this come from? How'd you start? Why antennas? What's your background, my man?
By trade, by my formation is I'm a technician in switchgear and switch yards. I worked many years for a utility company, and then I started the hobby in 10 years ago. And the hobby was pretty much in its infancy at that time. And I followed tutorial like we all do, like we all started. You follow tutorial online, you try to find information online, and then there was a group of people making their own antenna. There was a bit crazy, of course, Old Man Mike's and others. And we were, finding, old AM stuff and making our own antenna because there was not much choice available at the time. So I get into it, and I also got an IT background. I'm, pretty good when it comes to computers and computer science. So with the help of computer simulation software, I could designing my own antenna. It's much faster than trial and error with real piece of wire and real experiment, because you can't make 510 in a single day to try every possible iteration.
Mm-hmm.
So I started like this. Yeah, it was very basic software, which are basically script written. So I started like this. I just self-studied the subject passionately, and everything I do, I did it with a passion and maybe a touch of obsession. And I started making my own antenna just for my own venture into FPV, trying to go farther, trying to do my own stuff. And then I came up with my own design. That was 9 years ago. And people, oh, Hugo, can you make me one? I would buy you your antenna. Okay, then I started to make antenna for friends, for people online. And okay, I made a small website, and it came into a
It
business.
snowballed.
Just by accident,
Mm-hmm.
if you like.
No, that's awesome.
And I count, yeah.
Did your wife fly with you, or did she just help you with the business side?
She mostly helped me with the business. Sometimes she fly when we have time. On the weekends we like to go camping, and you bring a couple drone and we use them. But she mostly helped me with the business, and the business has grown to a monster size. So we just do it both full time.
Wow.
So the TrueRC is your full-time gig now. It's you're not just doing the IT and this anymore, or the telecommunications and this. You're doing this, solely this.
And solely this, and so does my wife, and we have a couple employees now.
That's awesome. That is super cool.
Oh, yeah.
So this is kind of like a true life story on how it went from like a hobby. I'm assuming you went from hobby to making your own stuff to just blast off.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's very cool.
We have
very envious.
I had some help from family member that told me, Hugo, you should incorporate your business and make a real business plan, and because you got something. Are you sure you got it? Yeah, I know. I look at your number and you got something. So they helped me set up business, set up the tax and all those accounting stuff that I hate. And they helped me set up this. And then my wife, you need a real website. You need a real logo. And she went to a real website design, a real logo, and this is the logo that I use now.
I love your logo, by the way, because it's simple, but it tells me like Canada, which is big for me. So like I like how it's such a simple but Canadian strong logo.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm really proud of it. Every time I look at it, and now I see it everywhere. You just scroll on Facebook and you see my logo somewhere on a sticker, on a goggle, and you will sure see it somewhere. So to get back to how the business started, that's how it started, and my wife helped me to make it available to everyone, and make things pretty instead of just technical.
Yeah. So little question to kind of tie into that. How did because I know you do deal with the axes and stuff like that. How did that come into fruition there?
It came with a phone call from Tim Wilson.
Oh, nice.
He's an owner of Get FPV Lemonnier, and they asked Hugo, can you design us an antenna, kind of like Alex Creve designed an antenna for TBS. Mm-hmm. So I said, sure, I will try. And at that time, I had no particular design in mind, and so I set up and I searched and I came up after much iteration with the Axie design that we have now. But well, it wasn't the Axie that we have now. We have multiple iterations that over the years changed, but the core concept was the same. So it was 4 years ago.
So I've been essentially using TrueRC stuff this whole time without even knowing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
pretty cool.
Does it feel strange to you when you're scrolling social media and you see all these people with your logo and you don't know them? And like just knowing that it started as something you made for yourself and now all these people are representing it?
Yes. It's kind of strange, yeah, to see this. Many people, a lot of people fly in antenna, and others fly, often they fly clones, but it's still something I can't be real mad because there's always be clones and stuff, but it's still my design, so it's still, it's still something I can't be proud of.
Does it bother you that there's clones though? Like, is it a big issue for you? Or do you find you just kind of deal with it knowing it's a thing?
It's a thing. It's always be a thing. So I can't, I can't be mad. I am sometimes just when I see a new one, I am for 5 minutes. But then I told myself it happens. It will happen. It will happen tomorrow as well. So get used to it and move forward and make new stuff anyway.
Yeah, keep ahead so that they have to keep playing catch up.
Dude, I'd totally take that as a total, respect or flattery. That's what I would take it as, Your stuff's working, so somebody else is going to try to use the same thing,
Yeah, I can, it may sound silly, but I can be proud that most of the clones are of my design and not from others. So I guess the cloners know what the good stuff are.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Royal Mackenzie want to know if you have any idea if the LHCP long match sticks are going to be in stock anytime soon.
Today I saw them in my stock bin. There should be stock on the website, but after the show, I will check.
Awesome.
If the stock on the website matches what I have in my stock bin. But if there's no stock on the website, it don't take 3 weeks. We make them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making everything on site? Like you guys have a little warehouse near you, or so everything's produced in Canada? Because that is also cool.
Everything with a TrueRC logo is made in Canada.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
Others antenna aren't made in Canada is the Lumineer Axie and the Rush Cherry.
Could you guys partner with Rush, didn't you, for the Cherry?
Yeah. Yeah, we partner with Tony from Rush FPV, and they use our parts to have the antenna made by Lumineer under their spec. With they have their neat little table thing that's more like a tube that holds the antenna fixed to the quad instead of relying on the coax cable itself. So it's a neat idea. And at the beginning, they clone our stuff. They were cloning the Axie, and I started a conversation with Tony. Why are we cloning? Why? Because we run anechoic timbre tests from antenna and your competitors, and you're aware, so we use them. But if you clone our stuff, we can't move forward to make new design because we need resources to do so.
That makes so much sense too, and I think people there was a post today about that where people are like, is cloning okay or not? Like, how do you feel about it? And I think what you just brought up is such a good point, because with people buying clones, that's less money for you to put back into development of new products.
Yeah. So after much talk with Tony from Rush FPV, they decided to partner up. So they moved to the genuine design, and they now use TrueRC licensed tech to make the antenna. So
That's
on
awesome.
the box of the new Cherry, there's our logo on it.
That's fantastic.
That's really stinking cool.
Lunuzo says that he buys all his from Rotor Village and Airblade and SNN Hobbies to make sure they're authentic. Tom John, he actually saw the podcast with Jet last week, and he said right after he went and bought 4 antennas, and he put them on his quads and Fat Shark, and he said he's doing a conformal, and then he'll test the night after.
As a matter of fact, last week, week before last, I went out flying, and I got very frustrated because I couldn't hit the spot I wanted to hit due to some range issues and stuff like that. And you told me to get the sniper antenna. Little did I know, this thing is a monster.
It's quite big, yeah.
But you did mention something really cool, and I kind of wanted I don't know, maybe your explanation on, instead of, you said you kind of go the simple route rather than like complicating things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like what's your reasoning, I guess, on that?
Well, when you go the complex route, a lot can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to manufacture this thing. You need to each time you make things more complex in radio frequencies, you will lose energy. And I speak literally, because let's say you have an antenna, and with multiple matching network, each network will eat up more power. You lose it. So try to have a straight path to your model as much as you can. The sniper is just that.
Okay.
There's half an inch long of coax in there. That's it. So you are directly to reaching your model and the antenna is not a patch, and it uses it's basically a crosshair. Basically a crosshair with a lens in front to concentrate the beam, so to speak.
Okay.
So instead of having multiple steps to try to concentrate the beam, or to make an array of 4, 5, or 6 elements, you go with something crude and simple, which is a crosshair, which is a cross dipole, and a circular, we call this a director element, to focus the beam a bit more, for more range, but less beam width. Yep.
Lunuzo wanted you to clarify if the Rush antennas are also made by TrueRC then, or if they're just using some of your licensing.
It's a bit of both, because we ship them the parts to make the antenna. So we have the PCB and parts made to our spec, tested, and then shipped to the manufacturer to manufacture with our parts. So we know what's in there, because not all types of PCB that are created equal.
I think that's fair.
So we need to test each that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, that makes a lot of sense. Like, because you're saying like it's a partnership, right? It's not one or the other.
Yeah. So they make the antenna, but they make it with our parts.
Pretty much. Are they following your instructions too? Like, do you tell them how to assemble?
Yeah. And how to test, and they send me sample so I can verify they rock.
That's really good. That's good to know. And this is something I've been thinking about a lot since I switched to DJI. What is the main difference between the LHCP and the RHCP other than left and right? Can you run an LHCP with an RHCP and still have some signal?
Yes, you can, but you will have less, and that amount depends on the quality of the antenna, because antenna are not purely right hand or purely left hand. There's still some lefting left in a right hand antenna. So we could say a right hand antenna is right if it is 90% right and then 10% left. Just showing out number like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you still have 10% or 5% left to work if you have a right and left combo. And 10% of, let's say you use 100 milliwatts of power, then you have 10 milliwatts of power left to use by your left antenna, and that can give you still a quarter of the range, for example.
So it can work, but it's just not ideal.
Yeah. I try. I have the idea that maybe the DJI system could work, reflection, like a right-hand antenna reflects off the wall, becomes a left-hand antenna, a left-hand signal that is catched later on by your left antenna. But it doesn't work that much. No.
Sorry, I'm just letting Jake know his background is very loud. I muted him. I don't think he knows I did that or that I can do that. He's figuring it out.
Often people ask me what is the difference between left and right.
Mm-hmm.
There's basically no difference. There's no difference in performance. It's like a green light and a red light. Both are lights, but let's say you have those glasses with a red and green filter. The green filter only see the green light, and the red filter only see the red light. That's it.
I think that
But your
makes
red
sense.
filter, your red filter will still see some of the green light because the filter is not perfect, as everything is.
We had Tom John ask, and he said, if it's too personal, don't worry. But how much of your business profit is from FPV market as compared to like a military or a government style of contract?
It's I'm not sure I should be answering that.
You don't have to then. He said if it's not too personal.
Just like this, I could say I would say 70 to 80% is from obvious.
That's not bad.
But the military and other non-hobby stuff is growing.
I think that's good to know.
Yeah.
So Do4 wants to know if patch antennas are left or right circular.
Do patch antenna, it depends. If you can make a patch antenna being right or being left. One thing to know is patch antenna and narrow bandwidth. That means they will cover a limited range of channels. Like, for example, you take a 5.8 gigahertz patch, that will be very circular with a good axial ratio at 5.8, but at 5.7, it starts to fall off quickly. And same things at 5.9, you start to fall off quickly. So they are circular polarized, either left or right, depending on the design, but only at a narrow range.
Jake, what other questions do you have?
I actually had a pretty big one. It'll help me quite a bit here. Let me find it real quick. You had this. Okay. This. I'm gonna share my screen here. Sorry, my thing's all wonky. She had me looking for mic issues. Oh gosh, here we go. So on here, Hugo, this whole
Your
wow.
body blocks all of it. Move your body to your left. There you go. Or do that. That's perfect.
Oh,
So I'm looking at this little diagram here. I have no idea what I'm reading right there. How does somebody read that? Because this is something on your website here, like looking at the XR here, and I don't know what it's saying.
okay. Okay. So see this as a sky view. You know, you're looking from the sky down, and this is the antenna pointing forward. So much you see the beam, like it was a flashlight pointing forward. The beam is going forward.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So at 90 degree, right in front of you, you get 9.9 10 dB. Okay. Right in front of the patch of the antenna of the XR. So you can say that at 90 degree to the right, it falls to minus. I can't see the graph right, but it's like minus 5 dB. So you have much less range at your far right than you do right in front.
And most of the time, these are. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You see, multiple trays. There's a green, a blue, and a red one. The red one is the reverse polarization. So, like I said earlier, a right-hand antenna got some left-hand to it, and vice versa. So in this case,
if you're using a left hand versus right hand, that's what's going to happen to your signal right there. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's
you. Yeah.
So this one here.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh, this makes it easy.
You can see that the actual ratio, so the signal will be better off the side of the antenna because directional antenna often suffer from the actual ratio fall off with the beam angle. So as you go out of the beam, you lose some circular properties.
Okay, so now does the signal on these antennas literally do this bubble? Because like you were saying, this is like a sky view on where you're standing, right? So does it actually do that bubble outward like that, or does it just ray out?
It goes way out,
okay.
but the signal, will diminish.
It dissipates on the.
It dissipates, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
the signal that you can still, grab or detect is a bubble.
Okay. So when it comes to, say, and I'm sorry for getting all science fair project on you and everything, but like when it comes to a circular polarized antenna, let me see if I can get to it here. Come on.
You should have had multi-tabs open.
I should have. I really should have. Go back. Come on. Those are all patch antennas.
Here, well, Jake, look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jake looks. Tom wants to know what's better, an XR pointed up or an Omni?
Maybe the Tom John means an MXR. The MXR is a somewhat directional antenna, which have enough beam width that you can point it to the sky to give an omni coverage. Because earlier I said, with the XR, when you're off to the side, you don't get much actual ratio and not much signal. But with the MXR, you get a full circularity, even of the side, and some decent gain. It's less than a conventional omni, but in my opinion, having a null on top of you is a big plus. And I think it's the MXR pointed upward is, in my opinion, better than an omni.
I think that's really helpful
because
advice.
yeah, too often you bore your head forward and the Omni just point to your quad, which it should not, because you're pointing the null to your quad. So with the MXR, you have no null above you. It can't happen. So it's very versatile antenna for that reason.
Well, I can't find my one here, but as far as like DBI and all that stuff, what's going to be better for a range? Because I mean, you can find like what is this one, a 13 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So the higher the number, the better the range and everything. So what's
of course the higher the DBI, the more the range you will have at the
Mhm.
expense of beamwidth. Now with different quality antenna, you will get more or less beamwidth for the same DBI and vice versa.
Okay. Now, does that same premise work for circular polarized antennas, or does DBI even matter because it's just a big donut?
It's the same. It's the same. You know,
Okay.
circular polarized is an antenna that got two linear antenna in it, one vertical and one horizontal.
Okay.
Instead of a normal dipole, say a normal dipole, it's just vertical polarized if you hold it vertical. And if you want to make it circular polarized, you need to add a second one, horizontal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you have two signals. There's always one, even if you turn your aircraft, there's always one that will be upright and be able to be found.
So with these circular polarized, you're not getting not necessarily getting that donut effect on the signal. You're getting more of an orb. Is that correct?
No, that's not quite it. What I meant is with it's with the MXR you get an orb because it's the way the antenna can radiate its power. But with an Omni, being an axis or dipole, you will get a donut.
Okay, I got you.
Any Omni, any Omni antenna, conventional one like a dipole, in axis, a triumph, a two-planar wheel, most of the antenna we use on our quad and gear are donut. They produce a donut. They have a null on top and bottom. The MXR is different in this aspect. Is I managed to have an Omni coverage with only a null on the bottom.
That's crazy, dude. How long does it take you to design this kind of stuff? That's a lot of science.
Yeah. It's there's one other type of antenna I know that behave like this, and it's the it's a mouthful, quadrifilar helix. So it's like some kind of helical with 4 wires, and this one is a hemispheric antenna that behave like half a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So only a null on the bottom. The MXR behave somewhat the same, but it derives not from a helicals, but from the XR antenna.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Yeah, it's a whole new science to it, and I'm just delving into it because I would just buy stuff that just work. You know, I'd be like, okay, I just match it up with what I had or whatever. But now that I'm getting into the further going the distance and everything, I'm really delving into, the science of it. I'm trying to, at least, and kind of getting there. So
if you I guess you follow my blog on my website, I try to to post as often as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I try not to be too technical, but it's kind of hard.
For us simple-minded folks.
I have multiple posts in my blog that explains the stuff I talk here, being the MXR, being what is SWR, what is a pattern, and things like that. I have some posts about analog video signal that are useful for folks that fly FPV.
Very cool.
I think it's a good read to get through my blog. There's like 12 articles.
No, that's very cool. That is very cool. So how long have you been actually flying our drones?
I've been flying RC for 12 years, and I've been flying FPV for 9 years now.
Nice.
When I started, it was more. Yeah, I think I'm getting old. When I started the hobby, balance plug and LiPo was the hype.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. That's hilarious. Because you guys were still in lithium or nickel cadmium or nickel metal hydrate.
I started my first CP helicopter got nickel cad, and then we moved to lithium. They didn't even have balance step. It was just plug and play.
Dang.
Yeah. And then the FPV came along. It was mostly airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
Quads weren't in the background.
Wings and stuff.
Yeah, wings and airplanes. And then mini quads came up, and that was a big hit. They were durable, fast, and portable. So they became very popular. Yeah, and people started race, and it went boom.
I'm just seeing here what else. Lanuzo said, so would you recommend to run the MX Air pointing towards? Actually, sorry, he said running an X Air pointing forwards and the MX Air pointing up.
Yeah, that's a good combo. Yeah.
And there's another question here. What would you say is the best setup for quads and goggles when flying around lots of concrete?
The best setup, I think, would be to run like an extra an high gain antenna and stand somewhat far from the concrete stuff. So let's say you fly in a bando structure, then try to keep 200, 300 feet from the structure and fly in it. That may mean you have to walk when you crash, but it may be worth it to have a high gain antenna like extra air, still have enough coverage for the structure, and stand away and not inside it.
Okay, that's actually good info.
Oh yeah, the Tom John. He's doing a road trip to Quebec this year, and he wants to know if you have any really good spots in Quebec that he should look into flying. He's going to be.
One spot he needs to be is the what's the name? It's in Saint-Edouard. It's an abandoned place of an old NORAD station. So if you do a search for old NORAD station in the around in Quebec, you will find it. It's in Saint-Adolphe-d'Howard. It's a nice spot.
That sounds cool. And have you flown it yourself yet, or have you not had the time?
Yeah, I did. I did last year. I had a photo shoot. You
Very
see some
cool.
of the pictures on the website are from that place. It's a super nice place to fly quad.
That is very cool.
It's on top of a mountain. The view is fantastic.
Nice. I'm still looking at your antennas here. Like, I need to buy more. It's horrible.
Dufour wants to know if a MX Air would be useful on the VTX side of a transmission, sorry, not a transmission.
No, because it's got a null on the bottom and a bigger one that a regular Omni will have. So it won't be a very good idea to have an MXR on a quad. Maybe in some specific situation where, let's say, you have a quad, you want to attempt an altitude run to make an altitude record. You could use an MXR underneath your quad that points down, and you would always have a signal. Obviously, you only go above yourself and not very far, and that would be a situation where such setup could be used, but not in the everyday setup that we have.
Let's see if he has a follow-up to that. What did you find the most difficult part of starting your business for TrueRC?
It's time management, I think. You need to do everything. You need to do accounting. You need to do posting online. You need to do a website. You need to do debugging. You need to do antenna, of course, design and fix stuff and find new way to build them that makes sense. So time management become a big thing. So you need to be well organized. You need to do search before taking decision or spending money, because each time you spend money you take risk. That was the hardest stuff. Now today it's better because website stuff are done by a website business that I give them contract to do that, and I don't actually I can concentrate on what I like the most: designing, testing, tweaking stuff.
Yeah, the reason you actually started it.
Yeah, but the starting, where you need to make your website yourself, fix it yourself, and do everything yourself is hard. Yeah.
And how has COVID affected your business? Has it made it worse? Has it made it better?
It made it better, yeah, because with the lockdown, I think that's what happened. That people just had nothing else to do. Then they finally had time to fix their quad, buy gear, build new quad, and so order came in like crazy. So
yeah, Jake's like all about him there. Well, see, and like I found with me, even like I'm not traveling, so I'm not eating fast food because we don't have restaurants in the town we live. So we're not spending money on gas. We're not spending money on the food. And then you have all this extra money that you're like, well, I wanted all these drone things. And then you just keep looking online and buying.
Yeah. So I order came like crazy. Of course, I'm an employee because I couldn't keep them with the lockdown. So
yes.
I sat down at the soldering iron and I made what I used to make for the last year. Now since I have employees, I don't. I still do make some antenna. The more complex one like Gatlings and more complex antenna.
I was gonna ask,
but I don't.
So
yeah. Yeah, because I make them and my.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
See, honestly, I was gonna say, and it probably backs up Hugo a little bit with this. When I was in vet medicine, it's the same thing. Why is it so expensive? Why is the doctor charge this? But at the end of the day, you're not just paying for his antenna. You're paying for his extensive research and testing and his ideas that created the antenna. And you're paying for future development. So like you're paying for the whole picture, not just one item.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and when you buy a TrueRC antenna, you buy more probability that a new antenna will come out.
Yep, absolutely.
So each time one is sold, I can put back resource into development. So for example, I just bought a new vector network analyzer. So with this, I will be able to do more precise testing. Maybe start developing filters that will look into near, because I have the capability to extensively test them. So filter could be a new things I could develop to make DLB better.
It's just so cool.
Lynn Huzo wants to know what the most fun thing you like to do in your business. I think you've answered it though.
Yeah, it's development, like sitting on my desktop and where I have my simulation software, and you get an idea, and maybe this could work. So you design quickly, and it's like an AutoCAD that you design in 3D, and you make the antenna, and you press run, and you run the simulation, and you discover, wow, okay, when I do this, okay, it works. So if I extend this length, then okay, I can make it better. So that's the part I like the most. And then you take that simulation, just that design, and you make it in real life, and when you test it, it's 99% of what you draw on the computer. That's the most rewarding things that in my job. That's the most rewarding thing. When you design, you produce, and then it works just as planned. You don't always plan, of course, but when it does.
Yeah. Is there anything you're designing right now that you can tell us about? If not, I understand, because I know things change. It's fine.
Yeah, I played with patch array, which do you know the pyro patch?
The pyro patch?
The pyro patch,
I don't know it.
Fake
might.
Mm-hmm.
I know who they are. Yes.
Pyroflip RC got a new patch. It's the pyro patch that we made. So it's a patch. It's a pair patch on a single PCB, and they have some parasitic elements to so the two patch, even though they are flat in front, they don't point forward. They point left and right to cover more area. So you put them on your goggle. It's glue on the front of your goggle. So that's it. Yeah, it's flat, but it doesn't point forward. It points somewhat left and right to cover a wider area, but without being bent, without using two separate elements, place and angle. So I played.
So you designed that?
Yeah, I design and manufacture.
I dig that. Actually, it still fits in the case and everything.
It's super low profile, yet you got 30-degree angle between the two elements. So it got a nice wide beam and it's super low profile.
I dig it.
And the guys at Pyroflip built this nice tilt angle thing to fix the goggle. Yeah.
No, that's very cool.
At the time I work on a patch like this, but instead of bending the beam right and left, I can concentrate the beam forward and make a patch array using 9 or 12 elements like this into a single panel.
That is super cool. So you're kind of everywhere without people knowing that you're involved when it comes to the development of everyone's antennas.
Yeah, I'm quite in the background. Yeah, I don't often come to events, to radio show like this one. I tend to stay in the background a lot. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming because I know you're busy. And I think it's amazing that you came by to help out with some questions. Tom John wanted to know if the matchsticks, if you can change the braid color to black or red instead of like the yellow color that it is.
Yeah, the matchstick is made of Kevlar, and Kevlar is yellow, and it can't be dyed or tinted very well because of its nature. But I did make some matchsticks in black with carbon fiber. But carbon fiber is kind of hard to manipulate. So when you cut it, the braid kind of frail. It's you gotta be delicate so it keep a nice aesthetic. So I made a few works, but it's harder to make. It's the carbon fiber costs not much more than the Kevlar, but it's a lot more trouble than Kevlar is.
No, that's cool. I'm super intrigued with those, and I'm probably going to be ordering a few of them here very soon. But
and Dufour wanted to know if you consider that Pyro Patch short range.
Yeah, it's not a long range, but it only has 6 dB.
Just seeing any last questions, guys. Just seeing if anyone wants to ask you anything while they have you, because then hopefully they don't bug you too much after with their questions.
Now, with a setup like that, you don't want to really fly too much behind yourself, right?
No, it's still directional. So
strictly
behind yourself, behind yourself, you will still get signal. Imagine the way I picture often antenna and signal is with lights. Imagine that antenna is a light, and it's like a light bulb. All you need to see the light. You need to see that light in order to see your signal. So if you behind yourself, you will still see the light in the reflection in the corner. It won't be as good as direct light, but you still see it. So if you were to see the light, you can tell yourself, I will get a signal, but not a great one. But I will still get one.
Thomas, his name is Tom John on here. He wants to know if you have a favorite spot or a favorite flight you've ever done.
Back in the days when I had time for myself, I was flying airplane, FPV at night, and that's what I enjoyed the most. I had a twin star. I don't know if people know what a twin star is. It's small.
Some people will know.
Twin engine, and I was setuping with powerful LED light and FPV gear, and I was flying at night, like at 2 o'clock, flying in the field, no winds. It's like super calm, flying over trees, over forests at treetops height for miles. It was awesome. I even fly with floats on the lake at night. It was super cool.
What is something you wish would be developed in the hobby? Like now we have analog and digital. Is there anything else you're hoping will come in the future?
Well, now we have HD FPV, which was pretty cool. It's maybe one day we will have, like in these 5G antenna that are beam steering, like an antenna that, depending on how you feed it, it's a directional antenna, but the beam can move around electronically.
We kind of track it.
So yeah, you can track it, but it's super fast. We could have a quad that flies super fast and track it real time, just like it's done in 5G. So this could potentially happen one day.
So I have 2 more questions. Is it okay?
Yeah,
You have
fine,
like
you
8
can.
because we have a
Okay.
capital other question too.
Okay, so my number 1: do antennas contribute to latency? Like, for instance, on the
No.
DJI system? No.
No.
Okay.
We could say, let's say an antenna that got a complex network of cable and transmission line. It will take longer for the signal at the speed of light because there's but that's like picosecond. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Awesome. I had another question and it's gone right now. Go ahead and somebody else ask a question.
Catherine's question. I'll pull it up on the screen here. He is currently using Rapid Fire with the TBS Unify and a TrueRC OCP antenna. Is there any other better setup for Freestyle that you would recommend him to use?
You run the OCP on the goggle?
Let's see here.
Or, yeah.
I think he's running a TrueRC OCP on the goggle. Yes.
On the goggle, it's pretty good setup. Alternatively, I got an array of 2 MXR that you need to fix to the front of your goggle that are very good for rapid fire or fusion type model.
It's just loading on the screen here, but he says OCP is on the goggles and the drone.
Okay, you should be fine with this. That's a great setup. You obviously use the OCP on the goggle at some 30-degree angle also, just so that their nodes don't overlap.
Yeah, I think he runs them like this. They're like perfectly 90. Because I've seen him fly. He's one of the ones in my crew.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He flies them.
You can try to make them both vertical, but just somewhat. That's
So
completely.
have them kind of like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
20 years.
Yeah.
Like 20 years. Yeah.
Now I got to buy more antennas. Thank you.
Well, that's convenient because thankfully Hugo and his wife have given us a discount code, which is good until June 1st. If you guys enter Quad Chat in the coupon code section on the TrueRC website, you will save 15%. So that'll help you now that you all feel the need to go buy antennas. And just remember, poor Hugo is going to be sitting at home making every single one of them with his love and care.
Yeah. Hopefully, before the lockdown, we saw it coming, and we loaded on stockpiling antenna because we feel like it's gonna happen to us too. So we work at weekend and night to stockpile with the employee.
So while everybody was out searching for toilet paper, you were just stockpiling on antenna parts.
Antenna, yeah, and that stock lasts us the first week.
Wow, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man,
that was it. Yeah. So we're back at making antenna ourselves. I got some help from my son, which is 13 now, and yeah, we work it hard. But now things are getting back to normal. I got my employees back.
Good.
Some of them at least, and it's been a rough time, but it was cool to see that the business kept going even in
just
our time.
Just thriving.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was just thriving. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time, especially because, like you said, you don't really do many of these podcast or radio shows or anything like that. So thank you. Everybody, use the code, save yourself some money. If not, at least go and check out the website for another day, bookmark it so you know where to go. I think all the stores in Canada carry TrueRC now, like Rotor Village, Rotor Rev.
Router Village, Router Quest, Router,
Yep.
Router Geek.
Yep.
Router Geek. There's in Prince Edward Island. What's the name? Hobby. Great Hobbies. They don't.
Okay, so
But
almost
they
everyone.
carry Luminaires though. So
That's not bad at all.
And it seems
Well-
like everybody in the US has them. So
Yeah, get FPV,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like,
yeah.
most sites, I think, have it now. And if not, go to the TrueRC site directly. And at least if you're going to be using the TrueRC code, go to their site. But thank you, Hugo. We really appreciate it. I think we're going to close off the show, and at least that way you guys can go check out Mad Chiller's show. I honestly don't know what he's doing today. I didn't look. Oops. But go check out his stream, everyone. Stay safe and have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
And just give it a sec.